At this point, we have our page displaying database data in a dynamic table. We've also added record set paging. What we're going to do now is add one last feature in between these two, and that's going to allow the user to see how many total records there are and where they are in the process. And we'll just walk through this so you can see it visually and it'll make sense. So my cursor is in between our dynamic table and our record set paging. In terms of working with these two, these were created and added in 2 previous movies. So if you have not done the record set paging or the navigating database data movie or the dynamic table movie, your page will not have these features on them. So I would suggest you go back and start in the dynamic table movie and go through that piece. So we're going to put our cursor in this area between these 2 items, and I'm going to go up to the Data tab, and just to the right of our record set paging, which we already added, I'm going to add this one. It's known as Display Record Count, but it actually looks like a bunch of numbers. And you can think of that as being page numbers in the grouping of your query data. So I'm going to click on that. We have Record Set Navigation Status up at the top. This includes all of these. So we'll click that button, and this is what it's going to do. It's going to display this information. So the user will know how many records there are total and which records they are looking at within that grouping. So I'll click OK, and there it is. Now let's put this into live view so you can see it work. Down at the bottom of the page, now the user knows which records they're on. When I click Next, I would be taken to 11 to 20. So let's put it in the browser. It's a little bit easier to work with this type of a feature in the browser. So there's my first 10 records, and it's telling me that. I click Next. Now I'm in records 11 to 20 of 27, and I have all 4 options available. Now you can see why I tend to use the words. I'm not sure every user would understand what these images represent. I could certainly put some alt text on them, but that doesn't always show up in every browser. I'll click Next again, and here's our last grouping. So the user knows once they're in this group, this is the end of all of the tours. So that is the record set navigation bar, and I tend to use kind of all 3 of these features at the same time. So when I build a query and there's quite a bit of data to display using the dynamic table, I'll pull in both of these features. So our dynamic table is in this area in the drop-down directly under Data. I'll cancel out of that. Our record set paging is just to the right of that, and our record set navigation status is over here. So those are 3 different Dreamweaver features that you can use to display query data, and they all work together to make it easy for your user to see where they are in your query data.